Hello and welcome to the fifth in the Zellen art class series. My name is Grant Preston. Today we're going to be looking at abstract art with particular reference to temperament and time. By temperament I'm talking about getting yourself in the right state of mind to paint. And what usually helps in this particular case is obviously music, because in this style of painting what we're trying to achieve is a non-conscious process whereby you're not thinking of what you're doing, you're just doing it automatically. I'm not saying that it's totally unplanned, I'm just saying that once you let go, you've got to let go, otherwise you're going to overthink the process and you're going to land up with conflict in your mind about am I doing the right thing or am I doing the wrong thing. So then we move on to time. The quicker you do things, the less time you have to think about what you're doing. So today's lesson is try and do it as quickly as possible and stay in the moment by not being there at all. So let's have a look at what happens. I'm going to take a wax crayon and start off by just delineating some movements on the canvas. Just some interesting shapes. Because what we want to do is we want to divide the canvas up into different areas of effects. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. And also you need an area where sort of here-ish, where you can say, there I'm going to sort of have a darker area here. So that the painting will recede to there. So I'd almost see my black area there. I can see a white coming in from there, so I just put an arrow so I can keep my white strong. And here just some basic movements, not thinking much about it, just shooting some lines in here and there. Okay, that's enough. We've got sort of a thing, a basic idea of segregating the canvas. So we decide on the overall colour of the painting, and this painting I'd like to be the blues. So we'll start off with a violet, which is quite a dark colour. Again, I'm using quite big brushes. And what's helping me through this process is that I'm sort of concentrating on talking to you, which also helps me to stop concentrating on what I'm doing. So we know our darker area was here, so we could do just a bit of purple here, and it's quite a thick, make sure that the brush is heavily loaded. So this is actually quite thick, the paint I'm putting on there. Now colours have got to flow into each other and they've got to move across. So we don't just, although I'm not adhering to any of my original graphics, it doesn't matter because I'm not really interested at the moment. So these are our darker areas here. Sort of given it some type of movement and a little bit of coming away there, but just joining in there so the colours do flow into each other. Alright, so that's enough violet. It's a nice electric colour. All of the Zellen paints in this particular range, the Zellcraft range, you can get from vibrant, energetic colors to more subdued colors like this one, for instance, the ocean, which is a very mellow, beautifully mixed, well-seen color. So now that I've got it in my hand, I might as well give it a go. I keep, purple and green do go together. So I literally use the same brush I've been using. Take my green, check its density, and I'll just smear it in there a bit. And remember, it travels across across the canvas. I mean, colour shouldn't just be isolated, it should move. And for that reason, I'm helping it move. And then I'll do a few of these strokes through it. And I fancy the green quite heavy on here again, okay? Quite heavy on the brush. So this is quite thick. It's all wet on wet. So 1, 2, 3, I can do some movement there. Here I can do some more movement. Here definitely some movement, and keep that movement. So I'm just delineating because I've got white underneath. This will work in my favor later on. So the whole idea is to let the colors blend into each other. Remember, that's very much part of this type of painting's technique. It's color based. So your color is what makes the painting. It's not as though you've got a picture of a dog where people say, oh, that's a dog. Here, you're not doing that at all. You're just saying to people, let your eye enjoy the color flow. Because there is a design, a sense of design, but that's not important. What will catch the eye is, or what hopefully will catch the eye, is the beauty of the integration of the actual colors themselves. It's like looking into a kaleidoscope, I suppose. So here we go on to a blue. Blue will go, of course, with blue. We're starting with the deeper tone colors so that we've still got a place to go with our lighter colors later on. Now, because texture, we don't want the same so those colours flowing in there, here where they deserve to flow in again. Then we're going to be putting colours on top of these colours as well, so you don't have to be too particular. Remember, we're sort of doing this quite quickly as well, so that consciously we're not really aware of what we're doing. Okay, so that's enough of that blue. So we're just going to be this seems to be a sort of a slightly even darker blue. So I'm just going to give it some strength lines there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is a subtle difference in this color, very subtle, but I don't overwork it either. So, alright. So now I'm going to change brush to, because I'm changing colour, basic colour. I'm going to go to a very dark red now. A nice deep, this will be fine. And red, it's an old saying, but don't use a lot of red anywhere. It's usually only the little poppy red. It just sings from one area in a painting, unless of course the whole painting is going to be red. But generally speaking, red is an accent colour that just needs to be used selectively. So here I'm going to just put a bit of red in there, and that's almost enough. As we said, it's red, it's just to, we might smear it in later, but now we can use our red brush, and we're going to go lighter into the top area here. We said our light was going to come from there, so I'm going to take a very lightly, to here I've spilt a bit, so I'll just blend it in softly with my hand so that it doesn't get too. I'm leaving it to see through each other. I don't want, as I say, see these effects. There's a little oops there. I just now, because generally speaking the pink is coming in there, I'm going to help it by just coming into the picture from there so that it actually travels across the page. Maybe just ending it off there. This pink I don't like spilt on that, so I've just taken that out. Right, that's nice. Now we've got a pink sort of doing something. Not overdone again, we just leave it at that. And sometimes you see straight away that here just needs to be, we're using that line that we made there, but I'm just smearing it in to soften it off. That is also a little bit too loud, so I feel it's too loud, so I just quieten it down. Because generally, as I said, these are subtle little colour movements. Okay, so that would be the brighter side of where the pink's light coming from. So I want this subdued. Right? Now we said our white's going to come in from the top there. So I'm going to just pull some white in. Or should it be? I won't do white yet. I'll do this colour because it's come to hand. This is the Zellen Lilac. Now, with Zellen, this is not the most expensive paint they put out. This is their middle range paint. They do what is called a Prelude range, which is a slightly more sophisticated acrylic. Comes in a plastic container like this, and you can either apply it directly onto the canvas from the applicator, And then of course they have the more advanced range, which is the Zellen real acrylic paint, which comes in a tube, and that is more expensive. But for my purpose, I prefer, because of the consistency of the paint, if I let this, you see, it doesn't really drip off the front of the brush. So here we want, we're going to bring a lighter area in there. Never overworking it. You know, I'm quite light on my brush, one and round. Just leave this light at the moment as well. See, you know, I've been quite reckless in my attitude towards that area, and I'll still become more reckless and more. Okay. See, sometimes these weird and wonderful lines will work for us later on. We could brighten that area up. Okay, we can do some white now, just to, we've done our, see, you just give it a little shake. You can almost get used to the feeling of the consistency of the paint just by shaking it. Now I'm taking a brush that was used for white some time ago, and remember we said we were coming in here, so I'm going to bring that white in there. Alright, so there's some white highlights. Now we could either blend them or use the back of the brush first. I like the back of the brush stuff first. Gives you the strength of where you want the lines to move to. Now what I normally do is I put this painting this way around, take the brush I used to have red on, clean it slightly, make sure my consistency of my pink is right, and just those two little flashes should be enough. Just do some, that line would have come in there. It might very well be reflected across there. Alright, that's it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've learned something from this, about this particular style. Until next time, bye.